Welcome to another You Bijou. This is a tangle today that we're going to do called Marasu. It is a combination of Maria and her sister's name. I believe it's Maria, Rachel, and Sue. I think. Don't totally quote me on that, but I believe that's how this tangle was named, if I remember correctly. I'm going to sign my name and date it right out of the gate, which is a little not the way we normally do it. But you know what? We're going outside the box today because why not? Okay. The other thing we're going to do outside the box today is the tangling part, because I'm not going to use a border again. And we're going to do one together kind of in the corner, and then that will leave you room if you want to add more or if you want to embellish the tile and add other tangles. So Marasu is a spiral, but we want to leave room because we're going to draw within the spiral. So I'm going to go like that, and maybe we're going to close it like this, so it encompasses the whole tile, or it goes off the edge. Then starting this one is maybe the most confusing, and then after that it gets pretty easy. So we're going to draw like a band coming from that initial center and fill it in. And then we're going to aura it on both sides. Then I'm going to turn my tile and come from that same place. Again, I go narrower in that center, and so you're making kind of like little triangle shapes. I don't really bring it all the way to a point in the middle, but it is narrower in the middle. And so I'm going to aura, turn my tile, draw another. I do like to curve them because I think it gives it some dimension, almost like a 3D look to it. This is a tangle I get lost in. So I might be a little more quiet, and also I might start sentences and not finish them, and I'm going to try very hard not to do that. Sometimes that is a challenge for me when I'm tangling and teaching at the same time, because I start to kind of get into that meditative state and then I forget what I was saying. It's tricky. And remember to loosen your grip on your pen and not hold your breath. And when I'm tangling as a practice, like for myself to be in that meditative state, sometimes I light candles, sometimes I light incense, often I will play some calming music. And so we're just working our way around this spiral, adding these stripes, and then auraing the bigger stripe that we fill in. And so it creates this, once we shade it, it will be even more 3D. Going off the page, which means I gotta be a little bit careful. Try not to color all over my table, my tablecloth. Aura. And you can leave as much space as you want between your stripes. Once again, I'm off the edge. Maybe another one here, and then that will be it. And then I want to show you shading for this tangle because shading makes a huge difference. So I'm going to put my pen aside. I'm going to grab my pencil and my Tortillion, and we're going to retrace that spiral, but I'm going to be pretty heavy with my graphite, but I am going to try and keep it as much on that line as I possibly can. But I'm using circles with my graphite to put quite a bit down. And when I get to the outside, I'm not going to do that part just yet. I'm going to wait. Then I'm going to take my Tortillion and I'm going to use circles, and I want to make sure I leave a highlight in the middle. So I don't want to shade in there. So brand new Tortillion is a little tricky. And when you put a lot of ink down, it can like pull up the paper a little bit. So just be cautious when you're going over those heavily inked parts. So you can see how that changes. If I tilt it a little, you can see how that changes the look of it. And so I'm going to try, I don't want to get to the outside, so I'm just going to go on the inside of this edge a little bit. Often on this one, I will take the time and go over it again. Oops, and off the page. It always likes to pull my my pencil off the page when I do that. Close to the edge like that, it tends to, it's like when you're driving and there's a rut in the road and it wants to pull you into it. It's very similar. Okay. So that's it with the shading. Now I am going to grab my chalk pencil and just show you how different it looks when you highlight it as well. This is not a required thing, but I just want to give you an idea of how different it can look, how much it can change just by taking your white chalk pencil and going around that middle. And then taking your white Tortillion. So it's hard to show on the camera. Sometimes when I tilt it, it looks a little better, but you can see how that completely changes that tangle. So if you want to do more on the page and play with different forms of shading and using your Tortillion, you can. I think I'm going to put it like this, my tile like that, and I think I'm going to draw my chop. You wouldn't draw your chop yet if you aren't done tangling, like if you want to draw more on there, but for the purpose of today, that feels complete. That way you can fill in the tile as much as you want. If you did not already date and sign and write the name of the tangle, go ahead and do that at this time. And then I don't know if I talked about gratitude and appreciation at the beginning, but if I did not, it's always a great time to bring it in at the end as well. Have a great day. Bye.